Press your hands by your hips, lengthen up through your side waist, side chest. Move your arm bones back to bring your shoulder blades into your back. Release your hands to your thighs and close your eyes. Descend your thighs. Balance your weight evenly on your two sitting bones. Lengthen up through the front of your body. Press your shoulder blades into your back ribs to lift your chest. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Rest your tongue into the base of your mouth. Take slow, even breaths. And then gently open your eyes. Come over into child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. Extend your arms forward. Press your palms into the floor. Push your hips back. If you need a little more push to push your hips back, grab the sides of your mat and push your mat forward to get your heels closer to your hips. And feel how this pushing the hands forward takes your hips back. And bring that into Shavasana, downward facing dog. So I'm going to do it briefly on my hands, but then I'm going to move down to my elbows. Better for my shoulder. But so you can either be on your elbows or on your hands. Come up into Shavasana. So use that same pressure forward of your hands. Take your hips back. Turn your upper arms out. So whether you're on, I guess no one's up. Leanna might be on her elbows. But whether you're on your elbows or not on your elbows, you can still turn your upper arms out. And you can still press with your arms into the floor, your hands into the floor to take your hips back. Then come down. All right, let's see. I'll put this way. All right. Then come into all fours, quadruped. Pull your abdomen in. Then keeping your leg bent, lift your left leg up. Then lift your right arm. Keep pressing your left heel towards the ceiling. Engaging the hamstring of the left leg. And also using some core muscles to keep you balanced. Then bring the left hand down, bring your hand and leg down. Lift the other leg up. So keep it bent, like a donkey kick. Pull your abdomen in and extend your opposite arm. So use your hamstring to lift your leg. And then balance your weight between your hand and leg that are on the floor to keep your torso level to the floor, so it's not moving around. Then lower your hand and foot down. Now, which leg did we just lift? Okay, so lift your left leg up, the same thing, except now take it to the side. So it's like a fire hydrant dog, like this. There we go. And now you're lifting from the outer hip. But at the same time, you have to move your weight to the center and lift the opposite arm. Pull your abdomen in so you're not sinking in your lower back like I am. Yeah. And come back down. Is it too much on your wrist, Leanne? Okay. You have blocks? So yours will be a little more complicated. But you want to get as close to that height as possible. So I would use like medium blocks and then lift up like that. All right, other side. So lift your other leg up like fire hydrant. Sometimes this is called fire hydrant. I'm doing it on my elbows this time, so just to see what it feels like. And then opposite arm is leg. This is much harder than the hand, by the way. But it's not hard on the wrist, so. Maybe just have the fingertips on the floor if you can't balance. And then come down, bring all four limbs to the ground. All right. Now everyone, place your elbows on the ground, interlock your fingers, press your wrist into the ground, tuck your toes underneath, and come back up to a downward dog. All right, come back down. Now we're going to do a little bit of ab work. Of course, that last thing was ab work too. So this Prasada Padasana. So I'm going to have a blanket under my hips. You don't have to. Arms overhead, and then I'm going to switch my legs like this. So you're going to move at your own pace. We'll all start with our legs at 90 degrees. So either with or without a blanket, arms overhead. Let's see, where am I? Oh, there I am. Okay. Roll your thighs inward. Spread your toes. And then lower one leg. And then you're just going to switch. Like you're doing a very large freestyle kick, for those that were into swimming. If you're flexible, your legs should be straight the entire time. If it gets too easy for you, remove the blanket. All right, and then place your feet on the ground. And then this next one I'll have to show with my head towards the camera. So it's similar. This can be a little cranky on the hips. So if your hips get cranky from this, I mean, I've never had a hip injury, so I don't really know, but I can hear a lot of popping when I do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my legs up, out, down. So I'm making this giant loop, and then we'll switch directions. And then if you wanna play with your brain, you can have your legs go opposite directions. All right? So legs up. Okay, and then arms overhead or down by the sides, blanket or no blanket. Take your legs up towards your head, around, and do that a few times. Pull your abdomen in. So again, if this gets too, if you feel that your hips are going to be cranky from this, you could try bending your knees, or you can go back to the first one, the kind of the flutter kick, and this is more like a breaststroke kick. Well, that would, with bent knees, it would be more like a breaststroke. Switch directions, so you're coming up, then down, and around. All right, and if you want to do like some weird brain games, you can have the legs going opposite directions. And then switch. And then bring your knees in towards your abdomen. I hope you guys find that as fun as I do. All right, Jatara Paragaratanasana. So this is the knees side to side. I think we did this last week or the week before. Take your arms up to the sides in the T. Roll your shoulders under. Excuse me. Pull your knees in towards your chest. Squeeze your legs together. Relax your shoulders, relax your throat. Press your arms into the floor. Then take your legs over to the right and have them hover above the ground. And at the same time, turn your abdomen to the left. Then keep your legs together and pull your legs back up to center. Take the legs to the other side. As you take your legs to the left, press your arms into the ground, turn your abdomen to the right. And using the left leg, pull the right leg back up. First side again. Over to the right. Keep your knees together. Direct your knees toward your elbow. Rotate your abdomen to the left. Then using the bottom leg, pick up the top leg. Over to the left. Turn your abdomen to the right. Press your arms, your shoulders into the ground. Keep your neck and chin, jaw soft. And then push your right abdomen down, pull your legs up. And then go over to the right. Push the left side of your abdomen towards the ground. Roll your thighs inward to keep the knees together. And then if this is all going well, you can extend the bottom leg. Then bend the bottom leg, come back to center. Over to the left. Roll your thighs inward. Extend the bottom leg. Bend the bottom leg, come back to center. One more time. Over to the right. Push your left abdomen down. Extend the bottom leg. Push your abdomen down. Lift the legs back up to center. Bend both knees. Take the knees over to the left. Turn your abdomen to the right. Extend your bottom leg, rolling your thighs in to keep the legs together. And then press the right side of your abdomen down. Lift your legs back up to center. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Come back to Artichandrasana. We're only going to be there for a second. No, longer than a second, of course, but for a short period of time. And walk your hands back toward your feet. Uttanasana. Forward fold. Press your thighs back. Lift your quadriceps. And a nice stretch in the backs of your legs. Place your hands to your hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Stand in Tadasana. Roll your shoulders back. Press your arms like I've mentioned before to put a block between your hands back here. So imagine there's a block between your hands and you're pulling your arms in to press into that block. Now, lift your right leg up. So it's a bent knee. Left leg is straight. Right leg is bent. And it's just lifted up, floating in the air. Keep the left thigh pressing back. That's one of the difficulties in this pose, or where we're going with this pose, is to keep that thigh back. Lower that leg down. Spread your toes, as big of a base as possible. Roll your shoulders back, press your hands towards each other. Lift your left leg up. Press your right thigh back. So the weight's in the heel of your right leg. Find your balance here. Keep pressing your right thigh back so your right leg doesn't bend. And lower your left leg back to Shavasana. All right, now we're going to lift it up to the side. Remember when we first started, we did this, and then we did this. Well, this is similar, it's not exactly the same. So you turn your right leg as far out as you can, and then lift it up. Keep the left thigh pressing back. Shoulders rolled back. Keep lifting your right leg up. Lower your right leg down. All right, place the weight on your right leg, turn your left leg out, lift it up. Press your arms towards each other. Push your right thigh back so the weight's in your right heel. Continue to lift your left leg. And then release your left leg to the floor. All right, Vrikshasana. So we did a warm up for Vrikshasana, tree pose. Turn your right leg out. Now you get to put the right leg on your opposite leg, so that helps. Place it as high up the left thigh as you can. And then find your balance, take your arms back, pressing your arms towards each other. Lift your chest. Put weight into your right heel, left heel, sorry, and your right heel. And then take your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Suck the outer left hip in, press the right knee back by pressing with the little toe side of the foot. All right, release your arms, release the leg. Extend back a little bit, you can't see my face. All right, second side. Turn your left leg out, reach it up, put it on the inner right thigh. Helps to have a roll behind you, especially if you're looking at other people. Press your arms towards each other. Keep your right thigh pressing back. Weight in your heel. And then lift your arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Extend through your fingertips. Get taller. Press your thigh back, put weight in your heel, find your balance. All right, release your arms, release your leg. All right, Artichandrasana. So have some blocks at the back edge of your mat. We'll be doing Artichandrasana with the back to the wall. So if you want to set up for that, first we're doing Trikonasana. And, whoops. We're doing almost all balance poses today. I love balance poses. All right. Take your arms and legs wide. Press down through your feet, lengthen up through your chest, roll your shoulders down. Take your shoulders away from your ears, take your fingertips away from each other. Turn your right leg out. Take your right hand down. Extend your fingertips away from each other. All right, take your left hand on top of your left hip and pull it up. If you've ever gone to Devon's class, she does this thing where she grabs your clothes. And this is one way to not injure your students, is to grab their clothes rather than their body parts. And she'll pull your clothes up like this. And so you can do that for yourself. It's like Devon's behind you, pulling that hip up. All right. Press through your left foot, inhale, come up. Second side, turn your left leg out. Take your left hand down. Reach down, grab, pull. So that helps you turn your chest to the front. And then when you can't turn anymore, you can lift your arm up. Press through your right foot, inhale, lift up, turn your toes to the front, take a breath. All right, this time, don't use a block. Don't use anything actually for your hand, but same pose. I'm sure you've done this in some other class, but so turn your chest to the front, turn your right leg out, and then just take your hand down. So it's floating. Rotate your chest. It's just floating there. You can even take your arms over your head if you wanted to make it harder. How many people want to make it harder? That's amazing. All right. Stretch your arms back to the sides, lift up, switch sides. Turn your left leg out. Extend, take your shoulders away from your ears, extend through your fingertips. Take your left arm down. Floating in the air. Possibly overhead. Or not. You don't have to. You can have them down. And you have them down when you come back up. So take them out to the sides, press through your fingers, come back up, take your arms and legs together. All right, so this next one is Artichandrasana, is using the wall, but not using a block. So just watch for a second. So I'm close enough to the wall that my arm is against the wall, but I don't really want my hip next to the wall, but you know, body sizes, right? All right. So I'm just gonna slide down the wall and my bottom of my hand isn't touching anything. So you want your right foot pointing in the same direction as you're looking. You don't want it turned in or turned down. You want it straight ahead. And then you want your right hand next to the wall, the right shoulder. All right. Then as you take your arms apart, take your shoulders to the wall for balance, and then kind of teeter-totter down so you're floating above the floor. Move your hip away from the floor. Lift from the inner back thigh. Lift the back thigh up for most of you. Yes, better. And this is kind of the same thing where the opposite side of the torso is actually keeping you up. Just like the Artichandrasana without using the hands. But this time we're using the wall just because this is a lot harder if you don't use the wall. You can do it without the wall. But, all right, and then teeter-totter back up. And to the other side. You should probably just I'm in a teaching class, not have these in there. There we go. All right. So shoulders against the wall. Make sure your foot is pointing forward. No. Lift the back leg from the back leg, the inner thigh of the back leg. Lifts it up. Shoulders against the wall, hips away from the wall. And then teeter-totter yourself back in. All right. Uttanasana, I think. I think a little break first. So you can grab your opposite elbow. If that's not comfortable on your back, you can rest your arms on your shins, like you just run a race or something like that. I see the runners always doing this. Probably not with straight legs, but same kind of thing. So if your back is good, no pain, interlock your elbows, hang straight down. All right, place your hands on your hips, elbows to the ceiling, come back up. Okay, Artichandrasana. So that's intense plank stretch. Now, right now, I cannot do, can't do it with both arms. I cannot do reverse Namaskar. So I am going to be here. So basically, reverse Paschimottanasana Namaskar looks like this, except it's behind your back. You can also grab the opposite elbow. I'm not quite there yet. So I'm going to grab the opposite wrist. We're going to take the legs apart. So take your legs apart, either with hands behind your back, well, hands behind your back no matter what. And then grabbing, or most of you are in Paschimottanasana, so we'll just go with that. All right, turn to your right. Turn your left foot in strongly, right leg all the way out. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest, press through your back heel to keep the back leg straight. Press through your front big toe to keep the front leg straight. And then keeping your focus on your legs, fold forward. So here too, we have a different kind of balance pose, right? So we've been doing these balance poses to work your core. Roll your shoulders back. If your head can rest on your shin, then your head rests on your shin. Well, yeah, that's part of the problem. It gets tippy. All right, now really concentrate on your back heel. Inhale, come all the way up. Turn your feet to the front. All right, if you're not in Paschimottanasana, switch the grip. If you are, just stay there. Turn all the way to the left. Left leg out 90 degrees. Right leg in between 60 and 80 degrees. It really has a lot to do with how you build. Press down with the big toe of the left foot, the right heel. Inhale, lift your chest, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Keep your shoulders rolling back. Find your balance here. Now, focus on your legs, focus on your feet. Press down strongly with your right foot. Inhale, lift back up. Turn your feet to the front. Step your feet together. Extend your arms out, spread your fingers. All right. One more balanced standing pose. Standing splits, Urdhva Prasada Padasana. So if your hamstrings are tight, have some blocks in front of you. Start with your feet together and pull forward into Uttanasana. So bricks or no bricks. Then lift your right leg up. Roll your right thigh in. Keep both legs straight. Now earlier when we had the bent knee, you know, when we were lifting that leg up, you could try it here. And you'll feel the top leg bent. You'll feel that you have to use a little more hamstring to lift that leg up. So use that and see if you can straighten it from there. Usually the easier way is to turn the hips, but we're not going to do that today. We're using strength rather than optional flexibility. So use the top of the hamstring to lift that leg up. Now, you're on one leg and two hands. So the lifted leg is your right leg. You can take your right hand to your ankle. If that's too much of a balance challenge, take your left hand to your ankle. It's a little easier. And pull yourself more deeply in. As you pull yourself more deeply in, use the hamstring of your right leg to lift up. Then both hands to the ground, lower your right leg down. Take a breath there. I just turned around just so I can see. All right. Lift your left leg up. Bend your left knee. All right. Roll your left thigh in. Some of your left hips are coming up. And lift from the top, the bottom, right underneath the buttock. That's where it needs to lift up. And then once you've lifted as much as you can with the leg bent, straighten the leg. Now, you're going to go down further with the pull of the hand. So pick which hand you want to use. The left hand is traditional, with the left leg lifted. The right hand, easier to balance, easier to pull in. You're going to get more power if there's less balance challenge. All right, and then both hands to the ground, both legs to the ground. Take your feet sticking that distance apart, a little wider than hip width, and fold forward. Again, either interlock your elbows or place your hands on the ground. Yeah. Okay, and I assume you're using a wall for that. Same kind of thing. That's fine. All right. Place your hands on your hips, elbows to the ceiling. Inhale, all the way back up. Okay, the choices are Shavasana, head balance, another balance pose. Or what would I want you to do? I think the other choice, kind of going with this theme, oh, we never did, oh, no, it doesn't matter, is to do Supta Padasana. One, sometimes this is called 3, sometimes it's called 2. One without a strap. So if you're not doing Shavasana for whatever reason, you'll do this pose. If you're doing Shavasana, headstand. Then I'm doing a very short headstand still until my, well, actually, for a long time, probably. Anyway. Those in Shavasana. This doesn't, not from Marsha, but everyone else press your forearms into the ground. Lift your shoulders away from your ears. Those doing Supta Padasana without the strap, you focus on the down leg. So the up leg moves around, but the down leg is where you use your abdominal muscles to keep the body even. Ah, there you are, Soko. I couldn't find you for a little bit. Find, where is that? You there. All right. Everyone take your abdomen back. That's true for whatever position you're in. Aha, there she is. All right, come down. We're gonna finish up if you're doing both sides, but work your way down towards the floor. All right, let's see. I might need to move my camera down just a touch. Because now we're pretty much down on the floor. Okay. So we're going to do Anatasana. It's a favorite pose. So use the edge of the mat to line up your ankle, your knee, your hip, your shoulder. Like this. And it doesn't matter which side you choose first. So line yourself up along the mat. Then with the arm that's down, pull your fingers away to get your armpit closer to the floor. If your armpit doesn't quite reach the floor, or it's really high up, you can take a blanket and put it there. This is pretty comfortable. But I'll do the both poses. All right. So you're going to bend your elbow and hold the back of your head. Now, if this is uncomfortable for your neck, you can keep your head down. But you're kind of like looking off in the distance somewhere. It's not straightforward. It's a little bit up. All right. Now bend your top leg like you were lifting your leg before we did Vrikshasana. So the foot that's lifted points towards the other foot. So the hips are open. So rather than this, which is actually harder, it's this. Now place the foot in Vrikshasana and find your balance there. Move both hips forward and use the toe of the bottom leg, little toe of the bottom leg to keep you balanced. Now, straighten the top leg. And then you can lift the arm up so it's like it's grabbing the foot, but it's not grabbing the foot. So this looks like the Artichandrasana we were doing earlier with a different head position. All right, lower your arm and leg. Change sides. So line up your ankle, your knee, your hip, and your shoulder. And then if you need support, walk your fingers forward. But if you need support under your armpit, take it. You guys look all open in your armpits. So, and then you can bend your elbow and support your head. Find your balance here. Notice how the muscles around your torso are the ones that have to keep you upright. They have to engage. Or you could just bend somewhere and then you won't have to do anything. All right. Now you're going to bend the top leg into a right angle. So knee up, foot in line with the knee. Find your balance there. I always know that if this is too easy for me, I'm probably crooked. And usually when I teach this, I'm a little crooked so I can actually stay upright. All right, and then place the foot on the opposite inner thigh. So you're in Vrikshasana. Find your balance there. Now straighten the top leg and straighten the arm up. Then lower the leg, lower the arm. You can move to your hands and knees. Let's see. Actually, for the benefit of those with wrist issues, come to your elbows and knees. So hands are shoulder width apart. Then walk your feet back and tuck your toes underneath. So you're in a low plank. So here is another demonstration of how, you know, if you think about plank pose and you compare it to, say, a sit-up is definitely like you sit up, you're engaging your abdomen, you're flexing your abdomen. It's like a normal weight, like a bicep curl or abdomen flex or whatever. But this is actually a balance pose. because you can feel it all along your core. If you can't feel it in your core, your butt's sticking up. All right, come down. Now, I'm going to go on my right side. I don't know why I'm even teaching this today. So, it's probably not the best thing to say teaching a class. I don't know why I'm teaching this. So, I'm going to go to side plank on the right. So, elbow down or arm down. You choose. Now, if you need a little more support, use your top leg for support. Yeah. If you need less support, bend your top leg up. Whoa. All right, come down. Second side. So, let's see. I'm going to do elbow down on this side. And I'm going to do a little more support. Lift up. So either leg up or leg down. The shoulders hurt, so I'm giving it some more support. And come down. So that is the beginnings of a pose called Vasisthasana, which is where, you grab one, I'll do it on this side. That's the beginning of this pose. So, something to do. All right, dog pose. Even yourself out. Well, yeah. There's tricks, but all right. Lie on your back with your heels in close to your hips. Press your upper arms into the floor. Have your fingertips pointing towards the ceiling. Press your heels into the floor, lift your hips, roll your shoulders under, but keep your upper arms pressing into the floor and your fingertips pointing to the ceiling. See if you can engage that muscle right beneath the buttocks that lifts your legs up. The hamstring, we've done this where we've taken a blanket and moved it out. We've done it in class. It's much harder with different floors and stuff like that, but you get the idea that you have to pull in to lift your hips up. At the same time, you don't want your knees to go out to the side. So press down with the big toe side of your feet and your knees probably won't wander off. Lift your hips as high as you possibly can. Leanne, take your heels apart a little bit. Your heels are coming in, your toes are coming apart. Now just the heels, now move your toes in. There we go. All right, come down, rest. And now you can either choose to do that again with a block or no block if you want to work harder. So with a block, or
no block. And then if you want to keep the theme up, you would lift one leg up. And this is hard to hold for a long period of time. So usually you just keep on switching or you rest in between.
The other option is Sarigasana, shoulder stand. We'll see how it's going today for me. I couldn't do it yesterday for very long. So today's a new day. We'll see. You can also do, if you've had enough today, this might be actually a great option. If you want to do shoulder stand with a chair, that would be pretty nice. Right before this class, I do a little weight workout, so shoulder stand with a chair sounds pretty good. Actually, it always sounds good. I don't know who I'm kidding. All right, so find your setup. Ooh, oh, the light's coming through. I'm all glossy and shiny. There we go. Almost everyone's using a block today. Oh. All right. So again, your toes are turning out. So try to keep your toes turned. Start with your toes turned in a little bit, and that might help you. Do you have a question, Laura?
No, I was just gonna say thank you, and I have to leave early.
Okay, have a good day.
Bye.
You don't need to watch for this, but so one thing I found, this is how injuries teach us, is that I can do shoulder stand for a bit of time with my elbows bent, but that hurts more than having my arms straight. So I'm doing something called Sarigasana Tube, which is having my arms go straight back. This is kind of a variation of it. A little harder to do this for a long period of time, but it's a way that I'm moving into regular Sarigasana while I wait for that shoulder to heal. So wherever you are, engage the top of your hamstring to move your thighs back and your buttocks forward, or your buttocks up and your thighs down. Why not? If you're in shoulder stand, I'm going to give a little option here. Since those in bridge pose are doing the alternating legs, you can bring one leg forward. Most likely you start on your right leg, but it's not written in stone or anything. So extend your left leg, take your right leg down, and lift your right leg back up. Keep your right leg where it is. Keep that engagement on the back of the hamstring to keep the right leg steady. Take the left leg down. Lift the left leg up. Now one more trial. This time, bend the right leg, bring the knee towards the shoulder, and then straighten the right leg out. Bend the knee, lift it back up. Bend the left leg, bring the knee towards the shoulder. Straighten the left leg out. Bend the knee, lift it back up. That's about all I got. All right,
If you're on the brick, lift your hips up, lower the brick to its lowest height, come back down. If you're in shoulder stand, come down however you need to come down. I guess would be the right way of saying it. Either feet over the head or sliding off or watching out for spare chairs. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's sit up. And we're going to do a few twists to end. So the first one is Padasana 1. So if I'm going to my right, my legs go to the left. And I have a support for my right hip like this. And then I'll have a block, because I have such T-Rex arms, I'm going to have a block behind for my hand. But I'm going to be facing the camera, so I'm going to be doing it the other way. So let's see what you can remember from Padasana. So the outward leg, in this case, this would be your left leg, is in Virasana, and the right foot is underneath. The block is underneath your right hip. Descend your left hip so that your shoulders are directly over your hips. And then first we're going to turn the torso and just keep the head in line with the torso, and then we're going to move the neck around. So turn to your right, take your left hand outside your right thigh, right hand out behind, and turn as much as you can, keeping your chin in line with your chest. So remember when we did those abdominal turning poses and how the abdomen turned one way and the legs moved the other way? This is similar, although the abdomen can go, but you can't let that opposite hip follow you around. So keep your left hip down as you turn to your right. Now look over your right shoulder. Keep turning to your right. Then keep everything where it is, but look over your left shoulder. And then turn your torso to the front. Change sides. So now your right leg is in Virasana. Your left foot is underneath your right. Your left hip is supported, most likely. Descend your right hip so that your hips and your shoulders are in one line. You're not leaning over to the side. Someday I'll get light colored shirts so I don't just blend into the background. All right, I died. Light colors are just an invitation for coffee. All right, turn to the left. Keeping your chin in line with your chest. Now turn as much as you can with your head on straight. Using your arms to turn yourself around, and as you turn, descend your right hip so that it's not following you around, that the twist is coming from your spine and not just your body turning. Then look over your back shoulder, which is your left, keeping your shoulder blades into your back. That'll help you get more of a stretch along the side of your neck. And then turn your head to the front. Turning the rest of your body to the left as you turn your head to the right. Then come back to center. Stretch your legs forward in Anatasana. You can sit on a brick or a blanket. The brick's a little uncomfortable. Puppy. All right. And then bend your right leg. Press your left thigh into the ground, push down on your right leg and lift your chest. Then wrap your left arm around your right leg, right arm behind. All right, so you can take your elbow on the outside of your knee if you wish. But for this neck turning stuff, I want your shoulders to be pressing into your back. So you have to turn enough that that front shoulder, your left shoulder, can still press into your back. And if I bring my elbow around, that shoulder rolls forward. So for me, I have to be like this. Because the shoulder blades coming into the back moves this muscle back, so you get a better stretch. So the muscle starts at basically below your ear and goes down to your shoulder. All right, now turn to your right shoulder. Turn your head to your right shoulder. So Marichyasana 1. 3. I don't even know anymore. Then keep your torso where it is, and turn your head towards your left leg. Now both of these are in line yoga, by the way, this head turning stuff. Then come back to the front. Switch legs. Pull your left leg in. Press your right leg towards the floor. Press down with your knee. Lift your chest. And then turn to your left. Press your shoulder blades into your back. Lift your chest. And then turn your head to look over your left shoulder. And look over your right shoulder. Keep turning your torso as you look in the opposite direction. And return to the front. 2 straight legs. Paschimottanasana. So if you want head support, I love head support in Paschimottanasana. Have head support. Fold forward, pressing your thighs into the ground. Relax your head, your neck, your jaw. Your feet can be apart or together. Depends on your flexibility. All right, inhale, come back up. And then lie back for Shavasana. Roll your shoulders under. So you can be broad across your collarbones. Rest your arms out to the side. Rest your legs out to the side. Take a few breaths, resting the weight of your body into the floor. Just feeling how that relaxes you. Having the weight go down. There's little areas of tension that kind of keep you together, keep you wound up. Release that. Relax your jaw. And use the next few moments to focus on your breath. Deepen your breath. Bend your knees. Support your head as you roll to your right side. Roll a little further to your right side and use your arms to lift yourself back up to seated. Take your arms wide, lift your chest. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Think of something you're grateful for. Namaste.